and I don't have a mantle, so I'm going to build an alternative option. So it's kind of a multi-purpose DIY, which we definitely love. I don't have a mantle and I want Christmas stockings. Imagine 3 Christmas stockings, you know, where they would sit. I love this drill bit. Let's give this piece a little bit of character, shall we? Haven't made stockings before. Grandma, I know that I'm supposed to iron this first. Don't hate me, but I'm not doing that. What do you think, Newton?
All the Christmas songs that we love. Yeah, all the Christmas songs that we love.
Welcome or welcome back to my channel, everyone. Today we're doing a DIY. And yes, it is a festive themed DIY, but you could definitely use this in a non-festive way, or at least half this video you could use in a non-festive way. Essentially, we are going to be building a alternative option for people who don't have a mantle. So for me, being Australian, having a mantle, never something I considered. It just wasn't a part of my life, especially not a part of my life for Christmas. But since moving to Canada, I think this is my 3rd Christmas in Canada now, I am bombarded with videos of people decorating for Christmas and having a mantle and doing all of the things on the mantle space, most importantly hanging Christmas stockings. In my childhood we sort of had a Christmas stocking, but it was a Christmas stocking sewn onto a pillowcase, which we called a Santa sack. So very different vibes going on. But yeah, I decided that this year I want to have Christmas stockings and I don't have a mantle, so I'm going to build an alternative option. Now, I'm not building a mantle. Instead, we are going to be building a ladder that we can hang our Christmas stockings on. We're also going to be DIYing our Christmas stockings as well, so that'll be in sort of like the second half of the video, so definitely stay tuned for that. I think both of the DIYs are very, very cool. And hello, Newton. You want to say hi to everybody? You want to say hello? Look, it's a camera. She doesn't care. I think both of these DIYs are super cool and I'm really keen to get started, so let's head downstairs and start with the ladder first. You want to come downstairs with me? No, you can't. You do, but you can't. So the ladder that we're going to build is something that you could do not for Christmas, not for your Christmas stockings, although that's definitely what I'm doing it for. You could also do it as a blanket ladder in your living room, or even as a towel ladder in your bathroom if you wanted to. So it's kind of a multi-purpose DIY, which we definitely love, but I'm doing the Christmas stocking ladder because I don't have a mantle and I want Christmas stockings. So essentially what you're going to need is 2 pieces of 2x3. I've got 2x3 by 96 inch. So that's why I've got 2 of them, because I want them to be around about 5 feet each piece. And then I also have round wooden dowels because I want 6 legs, I think, around about 6. The first step is definitely to cut the legs.
Hold up, I am on my way, I'm in motion. Let's go to the ocean. Yeah, let's go outside.
Love this guy.
We can hang out on the beach without.
So next up, I actually want to cut these on an angle at the bottom, so when they sit against the wall, it sits flush to the floor and then sits against the wall as well. So I'm thinking around about 22 degrees should be right. So we're going to test that out and see if we can get that angle right. If you're using a miter saw, to cut an angle is super easy. All you need to do is turn this here to the degrees that you want it to be, and then you cut down. Easy as that. Imagine 3 Christmas stockings, you know, where they would sit. I don't want this to be too wide, so I think right about that is pretty good. So let's get a rough idea. So the difference between these two is 14 inches, which means I want to cut my pieces at around about 15.5 inches.
And I can promise Santa's coming to visit. No, he wouldn't miss this in Christmas times.
So now what we're going to do is measure where we are going to actually indent them into the wood. So we'll be using this drill bit. It's called a Forstner drill bit, and it's just going to allow me to drill down and create a round hole essentially, or a round dip in the wood where I can pop the dowels. Super easy. I love this drill bit. I'm actually just going to clamp my pieces of wood together so that they stay in the right place and I can measure exactly where my drill bit needs to go. So essentially what I want to do is place my first dowel at the center point of 13 inches up from the bottom. So it's just giving a little bit at the bottom, which really is what you want. You don't want it to sit too close to the bottom, you want to sit it up a little bit. So I think I want to sit it at around 13 inches, which would be here. And to do this particular measurement, because we've got the angle cut on the bottom, we don't want to take the measuring tape from there. We actually want to take it from the side, from where the piece is, from where the wood is even and flat surface. And we're just going to mark along the side here. Then from this center point, we're going to go up 13 on each. Is that unlucky? To do 13 inches? I don't know, but that's what we're doing. Feels like maybe it's unlucky. I mean, my 13th birthday was very unlucky, so this might not be so good. Now what we need to do is find the center point of each individual piece so that when we put our drill bit in, it's going to be perfectly centered. Moment of truth. Yes. So it's a little wide because the drill bit that I used is a 1 1/4. This is also a 1 1/4, but it works perfectly. Once I glue that down, amazing. Chef's kiss. Now that we've got these holes in here, it's time for us to glue our dowels in. So I'm just going to use a little bit of Pro Carpenter wood glue, the Lepage. I'm just going to pop a little bit of glue in each hole and then add the wooden dowel and piece it all together. Trying to figure out the best way to do this without things just like falling everywhere. Okay. Okay. Guys, this is how it's looking. I'm pretty happy with it, but I do want to make it look a little more vintage and antiqued. So we're going in and roughing this piece up a little bit. I'm going to use the back of my hammer, maybe bring in a couple of the chisels in 2 different sizes just to get some different dings and marks in it. I just don't want it to look perfect. Let's give this piece a little bit of character, shall we?
Always falling down. I've been longing for this Christmas when everyone's around to share this holiday. Yes, it's a time of happiness, a time of joy, but not...
I think that'll do it. Let's get some stain on. Before I can actually pop any stain on, I do need to come in with a pre-stain. So we're going to apply that first, give it about 20 minutes, half an hour to dry, and then we're going to come in with our stain color, which I'm doing in the color Provincial. I think it's just going to be the perfect tone of wood for this antiqued looking ladder.
Oh, oh, oh. La, 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 oh, oh. La, 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 oh, oh. La, da, da, da. Making our Christmas memories. I've been working so much lately, I can barely find the time to sleep. Yeah, I spend my time running around, keeping people pleased. But this is my favorite holiday. It's a chance to start over new.
As far as the top coat goes, I think I'm actually just going to spray it on. I think it'll be a little bit easier. So I'm using, it's a Varathane semi-gloss interior spray.
This year, it's just gonna be you and me. Hang by the fire and chill. Isn't this how it's supposed to be? Making our Christmas memories. Oh, and I've been longing to hold you.
Let's leave this to dry and head upstairs and start making our Christmas stockings. Oh, the excitement is real.
Last year I thought about how things can come around just like that if everyone is here to celebrate one day. We have our ups and downs, but when there's love there's always a way. And oh, this time of year we come together to celebrate. Yes, every time the snow is falling down, and it is cold outside. We gather around the fireplace, and no one cares about yesterday. My favorite.
We're pretty much set up so that we can make some stockings. I also have sort of a mock-up template going on here that we can use. Haven't made stockings before, so I think I'm actually going to hedge a little bigger than what this is, just because I know with sewing and everything it's going to make it smaller, so I just want to make sure that I'm getting enough space inside my stocking and that, you know, we can actually put stuff in there. As for the fabrics, I have these two very beautiful fabrics. I got these on Etsy. I'll link the shops below. They were, I think, two different shops, but I thought this one was very festive and this one definitely had the vibes of my inspiration picture, which I will pop up here. So we're going to make two. I think I'm going to start with this one just to see how we go, and I'm going to do a velvet liner as well. Okay. Woo. Gosh, I hope this goes okay. Now Grandma, I know that I'm supposed to iron this first. Don't hate me, but I'm not doing that. I don't have an ironing board. Maybe we do. Okay, we're going into voiceover mode because this was definitely a learning curve for me. So the first thing that you need to do is fold the right sides, which is essentially the pretty side, facing each other. Then pin down your template. Once the template is pinned down, you can cut around it to get your shape. I probably should have repinned the template to the velvet, but for some reason I just used the fabric cutouts instead. When the velvet was cut out, I put a piece of velvet with each piece of the main fabric together, with the right sides facing outwards instead of inwards this time. Then I pin them together. If you do this project, you will essentially spend 75% of your time pinning things and trying not to stab yourself. Or is that just me? Now, this is where things differ from the first stocking to the second stocking. With the first stocking, I pinned one piece of fabric to one piece of velvet, sewed them together, then I pinned those two separate fabric velvet combos together and sewed it again to create the actual stocking. I'm showing you this, but I don't actually recommend it. So you can see here with the second stocking, I place one piece of velvet, then the two fabric pieces, and then the final velvet piece. I pin all of those four pieces of fabric together and sew them at the same time. This method is way better. With this method, the first thing that we're going to do is sew one piece of the fabric and one piece of the velvet at the top of the stocking. Do this on each side. Once you've done that, then we'll go around the whole stocking, but remember, leave about an inch gap on each side at the top of the stocking. You'll understand why later. When you come to a curve, you can actually turn the fabric to follow the line of the curve, but if you do get stuck, you can drop down your needle, lift the machine foot, turn the fabric just a little bit yourself. You can see here, I actually did lift the foot before I dropped down the needle. It's definitely better if you drop the needle first, but this should help with following the curves. Once the stocking was all sewed up, I folded back the lip of the opening on one side and pinned it down just to get it out of the way. This makes it much easier to attach the additional fabric that I want to add to fold over the stocking. I'm actually not really sure what that's called. I guess it would be a band. Be sure to leave a little hanging over the edge so that we can sew that together later. Like a fresh cut tree, I fall for your light. On this Christmas night, all the angels are singing. This next bit is a little tricky, and remember, I'm learning as I go, but the next thing I did was sew the inch we left at the top of the stocking when we first sewed the pieces together so that it would be closed. Then I added a little piece of loop fabric so that we can hang our stockings. And I did have a little trouble with the thickness of all of these pieces of fabric when I added the little loop to it. So in order for my machine to punch through the fabric, I did have to drop the needle down before starting the machine. Not sure if that's recommended, but that's what I did, and it worked, so I'm okay with it. If you're a professional sewer and this is a really bad thing to do, I'm so sorry. The final sewing step is to finish the velvet band by sewing it together along the top of the other side and then down the side where the two flaps meet. Now all that's left to do is turn the stocking the right way around, and oh my god, I'm obsessed. I love it. Oh my god. It looks so good. It's definitely better than the first one. I think I want to put it here because we're going to put our Christmas tree there, So I think that this makes sense, which means I do need to move this. My mum actually sent all of these little packages to us from day 1 to 24 for Christmas, which is so sweet of her. And I popped that up, so we've been opening them each day. Actually, we haven't opened today. I think I do need to move this to the side, and I think I want the ladder with the stockings to go right next to the tree. We need to figure out exactly where we're going to put our stockings, but I'm just going to show you each of the stockings before I do that. So we have this one here, which is mine, and it's probably the second best, and you'll understand why when I get to the final one. It's pretty good. It was the second one I did. It definitely worked out a lot better than my partner's one, which is this one. His is a little bit smaller in the foot area and not quite as big because like I talked about, I did a slightly different method of putting them together, but they're pretty good. The reason mine is the second best is because I made this for my cat. Never did I think I would make a little Christmas stocking for my cat. What do you think, Newton? Do you like your Christmas stocking? Hey, do you like it? This for you. I guess she likes it. So we need to figure out the placement for these. We're going to put little hooks onto the rods here and then hook the stockings onto that.
Come joining us all. The feeling is here today. Come on now, let's go. Caroling through the snow all day. We've been good, but we can last.
It's so cute! I love it. I think that it turned out really well, and especially once I get all of the other decorations into the space, I think it's going to look even better. We definitely need a tree. That's probably place number 1 to start, but I think that the stockings look super cute. I'm really happy for someone who is not a sewer, who really doesn't know at all what they're doing. I managed to make 3 Christmas stockings that I think look pretty good, and also the ladder as well. You know, that also looks pretty good too. If you guys enjoyed this week's video, definitely hit the like button and remember to subscribe to my channel. I'm here pretty much every week with new videos, DIYs, room makeovers, furniture flips, that kind of stuff. And you can also follow me over on Instagram as well, where I do a little bit more behind the scenes kind of things there. I will see you guys next week with another video. Until then, bye guys. The perils of a very small workshop. Now I've trapped myself. Okay. So I actually ended up just... If you're getting ready to bite me, we're gonna have words.